Hello, my fellow investors, and welcome back to another video. Guys, we just finished the live stream on Rumble, and we came across something, actually Mike came across something, that is going to absolutely destroy the housing market if it comes into effect. We're going to talk about this. It is slightly political, but it does need to be said because, well, there's a lot of correlations with what I'm about to show you guys, and a bunch of other things that have happened in the past with a similar vein. So this is going to be political. If you guys don't like that, well, then it is what it is, right? But it is something to be said because it does affect the economy and specifically the housing market. So make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Really does help here on YouTube as well as Rumble. And also follow us on X. So with that said, let's get started with this video. So the State of the Union is currently going on as I'm speaking. And we actually caught wind of this massive news earlier. Apparently Biden's speech got leaked. And he's basically going to do something, guys, when it comes to the housing market that will, period. It's not even it could. No, it will cause massive amount of unaffordability to continue. You thought housing was unaffordable right now at the current level. If this does get implemented, luckily it does require Congress, but if this does get implemented, things will get a whole lot worse. And you guys are looking at it right here. Biden calls for a $10,000 tax credit for first-time home buyers and starter home sellers. Okay, right off the bat, you guys are probably wondering like, wait. So if I buy a house right now in 2024, I'm going to get a tax credit of $10,000 for the 2024 tax year reported in 2025. The answer to that is yes. But the reasons as to why this is currently occurring is mainly of two reasons. Number one, the election, and of course, the fact that he believes that this will magically save the housing market and it will make things quote unquote more affordable. So let's read on with this article. I will actually leave this one linked in the description below. Not archived, it's from Investopedia. I like them, they're pretty good. So we got over here, President Joe Biden is calling for a $10,000 credit for first-time home buyers as well as $10,000 credit for people who sell starter homes. We already read that. However, the main thing here is the measure which would have to be passed by Congress. Thank goodness. However, at this point of the game, I don't know if Mike Johnson will say yes to this or not. Hopefully he doesn't. But basically, the measure that needs to be passed by Congress are aimed at unfreezing a housing market all but paralyzed by high mortgage rates and rising prices, putting ownership out of reach of many first-time buyers. Stop right there. Guys, are you kidding me? Seriously, I look at this and I'm just thinking to myself, so your solution to fixing quote unquote the housing market is to give people the incentive to buy more houses, therefore depleting the supply of houses to begin with, therefore increasing the overall principle of the houses. That's all that's going to do. And also the fact that this will occur at the same time with interest rates being upwards of 5.25% to 5.5%. Now this begs the question, is this happening because of the fact that maybe people are thinking that the Fed will cut interest rates, right? Maybe he knows something that Jerome Powell told them and said, no, we are going to cut interest rates this year. Therefore, if you do this, people will be able to spend less when we lower the interest rates. At the end of the day, though, it's still going to bring up the principle, making the quote unquote reasons to doing this by, lowering prices, because as you guys see right there, rising prices, putting ownership out of reach. Yeah, if you put more money into people's hands through a tax credit, even though it's not direct, it still will be in the future. People will see it as today. They will take out loans based off of that $10,000 increase, right? Based on that $10,000 increase in the future, bring it to today and give themselves that loan, buying themselves a house that they clearly cannot afford on a loan with a credit that they do not have yet, and at the same time lowering housing supply. Yeah. That is not going to lower prices. That is not going to lower prices in the slightest. If anything, that will increase prices by the similar margin. And in fact, if we take a look at the current housing supply today, according to Fred, this is currently sitting at around 8.3 months, meaning that we have around 8 months of housing supply. If no more houses were to go back up in the market, we would have essentially 8 months of supply, which is actually on par in comparison to everything else. However, think about this. Prices when it comes to houses have not fallen what we'd expected, even with interest rates being upwards of 5.5%, 5.25% to 5.5%, and also with a current supply of around 8.3. If people have more available money in the future, which they'll just bring to today using loans, essentially, this will make that 8.3 go significantly lower. However, guys, this actually gets a whole lot worse. Because this is going in the same direction that student loans went, and we all know how well that ended up, right? Colleges are super affordable now. Nobody has any student loans, right? The government giving out free money in student loans ended up resulting in a great thing, right? College is super affordable and all that stuff, right? Yeah. Well, turns out that Biden wants to do the exact same thing as the government did when it comes to student loans by giving people free money in the form of student loans to pay for their college education. He wants to do the exact same thing, but for housing. In the same article, again, link is in the description below, in addition to the tax credit, Biden also is asking Congress to authorize $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time buyers whose parents aren't homeowners. He's basically saying, if your parents aren't homeowners, and on top of that, you can't afford a house, you can't afford a down payment, we'll give you a free $25,000. You know what that's going to do? That's not going to solve the problem. That's going to make houses go up by the same proportion of $25,000, going you back to zero. This is complete lunacy at this point. And I even said on stream, I can't tell if this is malicious or incompetency. I honestly, you know what? I'm going to take it back as what I said on stream. I said that it's a mixture of both. No, at this point, it's malicious because there is no way that the financial illiteracy in this country, specifically I guess in Congress, that's pretty fair to say, but in this country is this bad that people, whatever he might say, right? Let him say whatever. But I really do hope that people are able to see that this is looking very similar to that of student loans. Because people say, well, college is just too expensive. We're not realizing that the government's the one that created it. Government gave people free money to go to college. It's essentially a guaranteed loan that the college would get their money no matter what. So what the colleges do, they're like, all right, if you're giving people free money, a $20,000 loan, we'll just make tuition at minimum 20 grand. Because that's essentially now the floor. And the colleges receive that money from the government while leaving now all those people that took out student loans holding the bag with a ton of debt. And on top of that, with interest increasing to the point that some people have gotten so deep into their student loan debt that they've already paid back all their student loans, but they still owe more because of interest, which is completely insane, guys. And this right here is setting the exact same example. If you believe that this $25,000 in down payment assistance, quote unquote, will be free, oh, you got another thing coming. You will have to pay this one way or another. Just like how student loans were free, it ain't. That got paid in the form of massive student loan debt. If this gets passed, which I really do pray to the Lord that this does not get passed and that Mike Johnson puts his foot down for once. Because if this does get passed, things will get bad real quick. You thought housing was unaffordable before? We have brought up that article of housing reaching 39-year low affordability. And one of the three things that needs to happen for housing to come back to affordability is a decrease in interest rates, which that would just make housing go up even more because supply will just crash, a downturn in the housing market, which is the most likely option, or household incomes essentially to rise upwards of like 60%. So unless one of those three things happen, housing prices aren't going to get lowered. And if people believe that getting a $25,000 down payment assistance, which really isn't assistance, it will be a loan and it will be paid back one way or another. If people believe that this will result in home affordability to actually get better, it's not. So I'm going to leave this, guys, in the description below. Again, it's not something that we normally talk about here, but, you know, at the same time, this is getting to the point where I mean, this is affecting the economy. I mean, to be fair, politics does affect the economy, but this specifically is affecting the economy, specifically the housing market, massively. And it's something that needed to be said because I have a feeling that a lot of people will not pay attention to this, and a lot of people will not see the correlation of giving people a $25,000 down payment assistance with that of the student loan aid, right? So hopefully everybody likes this video. Again, it really helps if you guys push this out because I have a feeling it will not be said a lot tomorrow. So make sure to like, subscribe, comment, guys. It really does help here on YouTube as well as Rumble. Follow us on X. And of course, we're still live streaming to Rumble exclusively. So if you want to see the live streams, make sure to follow us there. So with that said, peace out and we will see you all next time.